So, I saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning this week, and if you've ever seen a Mission Impossible movie, you basically know what you are there for. You're there for Tom Cruise to do a big stunt by himself, have some fun action sequences. He's gonna run a lot, and you're pretty much gonna have a fun, popcorny, forgettable experience. This is pretty much in that regard, but like there's a lot of fun action set pieces here. And I do want to talk about some of the stuff that we've got going on in this movie. They add a new character to like the roster. For the last couple movies, they've been kind of like sticking with these characters, Tom Cruise's character, Rebecca Ferguson's character, Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames has been in all the Mission Impossible movies. Jeremy Renner's not back for this one. I suspect he's just not coming back because of Marvel commitments. Also, he took a pretty severe injury this year with a snowplow, but I imagine that happened after this movie was filmed anyway. I think it's just a thing where, he's not coming back. But honestly, like, these movies are kind of set up in a way where, like, you don't really remember what happened in the previous one. And that actually kind of poses a problem here because Ilsa's character, or Rebecca Ferguson's character, Ilsa Faust, there's a lot in this movie where they basically just rely entirely on you remembering her character from the previous movies. Like, there's a lot of emotional pieces with her that don't land at all if the last time you saw the previous movie was when it was in theaters and you haven't thought about it since. And that's an issue that I noticed with like the James Bond movies, the Daniel Craig ones with Spectre, when Blofeld is revealing that he's been the mastermind behind all of James Bond's enemies up to that point, and like they show like flashbacks, or not even flashbacks, they just show like pictures of faces of characters from the previous movies, and I'm just like, was I supposed to even remember the villains in the previous movies? Because like these movies aren't that deep, they're just action movies, right? Like don't expect me to remember Mads Mikkelsen from a movie that came out 15 years ago, Ilsa's character, it's really just built up around, remember her from the previous movies? No? Oh, well, that's on you then. Haley Atwell joins the cast. She's the newest member of the Impossible Mission Force team. She's a pickpocket that actually is like kind of just a rogue agent who's actually operating opposed to Tom Cruise at first, but then she ends up joining them because you know how that stuff goes. It's like the Fast and the Furious movies, you introduce a new villain, but then by the next movie they're working with the heroes, and that's kind of what she is. But it also feels like they brought Haley Atwell in kind of to replace Ilsa Faust, or Rebecca Ferguson's character, because I don't know, I feel like she didn't have a lot to do in this movie, but it was very much like Haley Atwell's character is very much the second main character of the movie. She's a lot of fun. She's got a very like specific skill set of thieving, but she's not like a well-rounded skill set, so there's a lot of things where she's completely in over her head. There's actually a great set piece where they are doing a car chase in Rome in a Fiat 500 where Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell are handcuffed to each other, but handcuffed in such a way that they have to cross arms if Tom Cruise needs to drive. And so, and also like they're trying to figure out how to drive this dinky little car while they're being pursued by the police and like some rogue elements within like an armored tank, plus US federal agents are after him because he's gone rogue again, because that's how it always happens. But there's a lot of fun action scenes in this movie, and the car chase in Rome with a Fiat 500, that's definitely one of the funnier ones. One of the first action set pieces in this movie is a big like firefight set in the desert during a sandstorm. And I saw this movie in Dolby, and like the sound mix during the sandstorm, it like basically shakes your bones. It was really, really loud. But like in a good way. Like I was just like, ooh, I feel the sandstorm. And so that was cool. Now you can see down here at the bottom of the poster, Tom Cruise is running off of a derailing train, and that's the last action set piece of the movie. And this one actually is overlong. Like there's a whole sequence where a bridge is taken out and train car after train car is falling off and like getting decoupled and crashing, and like characters are like having to climb up the dangling cars and making it out just in time. But like they go through like 3 different cars that they have to climb up before they detach and fall down into the river. And I thought they could probably have done one fewer car than they did. It seemed a little excessive there. Ving Rhames, it kind of feels like he's only here because he's been in every movie to this point. They really don't know what to do with his character. Like Simon Pegg's character, he is the guy in the chair, right? He's, you know, the nerdy guy who does all the tech stuff. But Ving Rhames is also kind of like a nerdy guy who does all the tech stuff. So you've got 2 guys in a chair in this movie. And I suspect part of it is just that Ving Rhames has been in there since the beginning, and, you know, Ving Rhames is a cool dude, so they bring him back, but they just don't know what to do with him. I also think Ving Rhames probably just really isn't in the best of shape to be doing any action. I mean, the guy's in his mid-50s, and he's, you know, he's overweight, and I don't think he wants to do a whole lot of actual action, so he doesn't really have any action. I mean, at least Simon Pegg gets to do some running around in this movie. Then Pom Klementieff, she's in this movie as, you know, one of the muscle for the villain. She's kind of fun. You know, it's, again, these movies are very popcorny. There's not a lot of depth to them. She really doesn't have much dialogue at all. She just looks intimidating and is kind of sadistic with her violence, but she's a fun character. And then Gabriel here, this guy's named Gabriel. He's the villain of the movie, but like he's been intentionally set up as kind of like a mysterious figure from Ethan's past. And because this is part 1 of 2, they really don't go into it. Like we see some flashbacks of like a woman who is murdered by Gabriel, and Ethan took the blame for it. And that's actually one thing that they set up in this movie, is that every IMF agent was basically a career criminal who was given a choice to either go to prison or work for the IMF. And so I think it's implied that the murder of this woman that Ethan took the blame for, even though it was Gabriel, that's why he was brought into the IMF. But the actual real main villain in the movie is not Gabriel, but it's a rogue AI that the US government had developed. And, you know, they developed an AI, it went rogue, and now it's like kind of doing its own thing and like manipulating things, and it has its own golden mind, and it can basically, it kind of works like a technological oracle. Like it's able to analyze people's behaviors to predict what actions they're gonna take. And so it has picked Gabriel as like its kind of avatar. Like, you know, Gabriel has some motivations of his own, but it's very clear that he is primarily just doing the bidding of the AI. And the AI likewise is doing a lot of things, like he gets erased in real time from any security footage. So he kind of moves around like a ghost. There's not really a lot to this guy. I do like the AI villain concept, and it's interesting to see how our conception of AI as the villain has changed from like Terminator era. Because like in Terminator, when you had a rogue AI, all it did was, you know, launch nukes to destroy all of humanity. Whereas now that we understand how algorithmic manipulation impacts, you know, the ways that society interacts with each other and functions, it makes a lot more sense that you would have an AI that actually seeks more to just do subtle pushes to, you know, manipulate people into doing what it wants. Overall, I think it's a pretty fun movie. I have no idea when we're gonna get the sequel to it. It ends not really on a cliffhanger. I mean, they did have literally they were hanging from a train that was over a cliff, but I mean it's not a cliffhanger in that something's really unresolved. It's just they've got a next step after this that really could go anywhere. But like a big part of this is like trying to get two halves of the key that they think is going to unlock something that will help them defeat the AI, but they don't know what it unlocks or where the thing it unlocks is. And so like a big part of that is like they have one half of the key and they find a buyer who's got like the other half of the key because they want to track them, assuming that they know what the key unlocks. All they really know is the key has something to do with the AI, and they're still not really clear on what the key does, but it's a MacGuffin. It's just two halves of the key that when put together you get, I don't know, it's like a kill switch or something for the AI. We'll find out, maybe, if the writer's strike ever ends, or if the actor's strike ever ends, because I think the second movie's already written because they were filming it, but nobody's acting right now. Anyway, I think it's a really, really enjoyable movie. I think y'all should give it a watch. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream these reviews every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.